Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. You're listening to the Beyond 50 radio program. I'm Daniel Davis. We're going to be talking about something today that I think you'll find very unique. It's known as fascial stretch therapy. It's a complete full-body manual therapy and movement system which was originally developed for the U.S. Olympic athletes and NFL players. It delivers, alleged, a quicker, longer-lasting result than individual stretching or massage alone. I understand that it's relaxing and feels great, and it's one of the best ways to increase mobility and decrease pain, especially in joints, to gain faster recovery from muscle soreness. We're joined back on the program with Christine Mayo Powers, who is the founder of Hygeia Healing in Portland, Oregon, and we're going to be talking about this wonderful, natural, non-invasive therapy known as fascial stretch. Christine, thank you for joining us here on the Beyond 50 radio program.
Good morning, Daniel. Thank you so much for having me back.
Well, you got your face all stretched out. You're ready to be interviewed here on the radio program. Tell us how this was all developed.
Yeah, so fascial stretch therapy was developed back in the early 1990s by a lovely woman named Anne Frederick. And she and her husband, Chris Frederick, are now, since 1999, have been instructing those of us who wish to become certified in this. And they're located in Arizona. So Anne's history is that she was a professional dancer and was looking to expand her career. And so the U.S. Olympic team found her and said, great, we need your help with our wrestling team. We want you to figure out how to get them more flexible and reduce their injuries. And so she worked with some physical therapists, of which her husband is one, and developed this very unique, very wonderful way of stretching the body. We have the client lay on a very nice massage table, and Anne, or myself now, we stretch the client for them. It's like an assisted stretch sort of situation. And in the techniques that she uses, where we have the client synchronize their breathing with our movements, and we go in a very logical order, and we get the nervous system to kind of tune in, you're able to get the whole body to relax and get a much better ability to stretch not just the muscle, but the fascia, which is really one of the key things. People often come to me and they say, oh my gosh, I can't touch my toes because my hamstrings are so tight. And while their hamstrings may be tight, it's also most likely the fascia. So Anne developed this great system so that you can really target the whole muscle, the whole fascia, really get into each joint and add mobility and flexibility and reduce pain, and it's just amazing.
Now, you said the word fascia. What exactly is that?
Yeah, so fascia is so interesting. I've taken a number of anatomy physiology courses and had to do cadaver work, and, we kind of rush over it. In those courses, and we say, oh yeah, and then, these are all the muscles, oh yeah, and then there's fascia. Well, more and more research has come out, and the fascia is like a very thin, fibrous matrix that surrounds every single muscle, every single organ, and there's a nice layer between your skin and then all of your other muscles. So if I had a model of just you, Daniel, and it was just fascia instead of, all of you, it would still look exactly like you because it covers everything. And they found that while this matrix, composed of fibrin and elastin and all these other collagen, these sorts of things, it's very fluid, very mobile, but it has 10 times more nerve innervation than a muscle cell because it's also innervated with sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system as opposed to just the autonomic. So that means if you have a really crummy day, or you get really stressed out driving home, and you just kind of clamp down, that means all the fascia is also clamping down. And so while your muscles may be healthy and whole and strong, that fascia is clamping down because your nervous system is stressed, then you're not going to be as flexible. And for athletes especially, that's going to really impact their functionality and their success in whichever sports they're in. But if you just think about it for those of us who are, regular people, I like to go about my life and feel great, and, I want to exercise and stay healthy. Well, if I've had, a stressful day, I'm not going to be able to move as well because that fascia can really clamp down on the muscles. And so that's why FST, or fascial stretch therapy, we focus on releasing and relaxing that fascia because it does surround everything.
As I was looking at this, I noticed it was, people will probably wonder about this question, facial therapy, and you think, well, how does that actually affect the rest of my body?
Yeah, and so because, and it's funny, I have people say, so is this like a facial, like, are you going to touch my face? And that's not it at all. The word is so very similar. Fascia is, this connective tissue that runs over our whole body. So if I focus, let's say, Daniel, you come to me and you say, oh my gosh, my hips are really tight and I have pain in my hip joint. So maybe we would spend a whole session working on just your legs, just your hips, your lower body. Well, by being able to relax the nervous system, I have you breathe while we do these different movements, and I call it romance the nervous system. And while we do that, then your whole body is relaxing, even though I'm focusing just on, your hip or your lower body. But you do get a whole sense of well-being and relaxation and peace.
Now, I know, that this works really well with athletes, but what kind of people would actually come for this kind of treatment? What are the things they're trying to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. So while it was developed specifically for athletes, it has, changed over time and been able to be really focused as a therapeutic regimen for, just regular people. That's kind of what I think about it. I don't consider myself an athlete. I like to exercise to stay healthy, that sort of thing, but I'm not a tennis player, pro, or a golf pro. But fascial stretch therapy, or FST, is wonderful for people who want to stay mobile, who want to keep moving well in their body, or who have had an injury and want to get back to being mobile. So our flexibility starts to decline by 10% every decade of our life. So that means, if you watch children play, their bodies are just really fluid and move all over. And then, I know when I get up in the morning, gosh, I feel a little stiff first thing in the morning. And that's just a natural process of aging, that our flexibility decreases. Well, this, using FST, once a month or, every other week, whatever works for the client's body, is actually able to keep the flexibility in the body, keep people moving. So I really recommend it for all of my clients. I recommend it for people who want to start becoming healthy, people who want to continue, healthy and moving, or people who are perhaps rehabbing from an injury, or who want to avoid, as long as possible, having surgery, like a knee replacement or a hip replacement. If you truly need a hip or a knee replacement, I'm not going to be able to have you avoid that, but we can buy you, up to 5 years. And that really matters when we're looking at the longevity of all of our lives now and the length of time that the joint replacements last. So I just recommend it for everybody. It just feels so great.
Now, how long, you consider people that probably haven't really stretched or maybe had a whole lot of, exercise, physical activity as they got older, mainly because their muscles were sore, they were too tight, and they decide to participate and do this. How long does it usually take before they start feeling or seeing an increase in the range of their motion?
I see an increase in range of motion after the very first session. And like I do have clients, I have clients in their 60s and 70s who are rock climbers. And they come to me and I told them, I said, okay, we have really opened up your shoulder joints. You have increased range of motion even after just the very first session. And they, and I tell them, so take it easy that first time back, out bouldering or out on the rock climbing wall. And they come back and they say, oh my gosh, you were absolutely right. I was able to reach farther and stay longer on the wall, or, because you really do get increased range of motion and decreased pain that very first session. And then depending on how active the client is or what their specific goals are is when I recommend a follow-up. I have ladies who spend a lot of time working at the computer. They are not looking to, increase the weights that they lift at the gym. They just want general well-being and health improvement. And for them, I recommend just come once a month, because this fascial stretch therapy, it lasts so much longer than a typical massage. It really does last 3 to 4 weeks. You can really feel that lightness, the increased mobility and flexibility for quite a long time. Now, I do have clients who have specific goals. I want to double my weights that I am lifting at the gym. Okay, well, for those clients, I have them come once a week for 3 weeks, and then we reassess and maybe just come every other week or every month. So it really depends on their goals for what the follow-up is. But right after that initial session is when you really do start seeing a change in your range of motion, decreased pain, and your flexibility.
I know a lot of times when people think about stretching, they realize, well, that can actually be kind of a painful or at least an uncomfortable endeavor. Is that the same experience with FST?
I totally get what you're saying, and I have people who call who have had neuromyofascial release, and they said, I'm just so anxious because, that hurts so bad, and really the goal with FST is zero pain, and I really tune into your body and your fascia, and that's how Anne has trained all of us. You really pay very close attention, and we do not want to cause any pain, any pinching, because the whole goal is to help the nervous system relax. And if you have pain, that's not going to happen. So this is zero pain.
Now, how are you able to do that? That just seems kind of contradictory, I guess.
Yeah, so let me set the scene for you. So let's say I've got you in my delightful treatment room, and I've got you on the massage table, and let's say we're working on a shoulder, for example. And for a lot of people, shoulders are really tight, and it's a very complex joint. So one of the stretches that we do is I will, while you're laying on your back, I elongate your arm out to the side. So one of the things that helps reduce pain in stretching is I add some traction. I am supporting your arm, and I am giving it some more room in that shoulder joint, and then we gently start to move the arm, and if I feel resistance, then I know to stop. Now that may feel just like a very gentle stretch, to you, or it may feel like a little more strong of a stretch. So there definitely is a stretch sensation, but because I stop at the point of resistance, there's no pain. And that is why you want someone who is certified by Anne Frederick and the FST certification system, because we go through rigorous training to make sure that, they know that we know when you stop, because you could really hurt somebody if you don't know what you're doing. And so we really tune into those very first hints of resistance, and then, have it be a gentle stretching. And it does. It helps the joint open up so much better because we're tuning into the body. We're not forcing anything.
Now, what can a person do listening today, would they be able to do at home?
Yeah, so because the Stretch Institute, the ANS group, they found, people really loved FST, but, maybe they want to do some things at home. They did develop a group class, which they call Life Stretch, and I do happen to teach that at the Wellness Center here. And so with the Life Stretch, we do teach clients some of the stretches that they can do on their own at home. There are some stretches, of course, because I use the massage table and I'm doing it for you, that you can't really do at home. It's harder. You need two people. But one of the things, let's go back to shoulders. I love this. I'll walk you through it. If you lay on your back and have your knees bent, so that they're facing the ceiling, and then I'll have you roll to the right side and stack your arms out in front like a crocodile. And then very slowly, we'll kind of trace that top hand down on the floor like you're tracing it through sand. And you want to go, as if you were a whole clock, you want to go around the whole clock of the body, moving that arm through the total range of motion. But there's going to be sticky parts. There's going to be parts where it feels stiff, that you can't really trace your fingers along the sand, as it were. So in those parts, you reach out, you reach up, so you're off of the floor, off of your sand, and add in a little wave, as if it was like a little ocean wave. And that frees up some of that tension, and it helps move the synovial fluid in the joint. And then you can continue on tracing your hand along the floor. Now you're going to go over your legs, and then the hand is going to end up behind you. And that's usually where things get really sticky and stiff, because we live so much of our life in front of us that as we're stretching shoulders behind us, it gets very hard. So again, just reach out, reach up, so away from the ground, add in that ocean wave, and then continue all the way around as if, you were tracing along the whole clock, and then your hands come back to that crocodile sandwich. So there I would take a rest. Take a nice deep breath, an inhale and an exhale, and then go through the process again. We want to go 3 times, having the upper hand trace down towards the legs, and then around the back, and then meet up again in that crocodile pose. And then once you've done it 3 times going down, then you do 3 times going up. So trace the fingers along the floor, going up towards your face and over your head. And the unfortunate thing with the shoulder joint, because it is so complex, is going up is usually harder than going down. So I just encourage people to be gentle, reach up, reach out, and add in that ocean wave whenever you find a spot that's sticky. So complete 3 full circles with tracing the top hand all the way around, and then take a nice inhale and an exhale every time you come back to that crocodile position. So now you've done 3 going down and 3 going up, full circles. Then roll to the other side and do the same with the other hand. It is amazing how much better your shoulders feel if you do this every day. It really is. And that's something very easy that you can do at home. There's another one for the neck. If you just sit in a very comfortable seated position, it can be at your desk chair, it can be on the sofa, it can be on the floor, whatever works for you, and cross your arms over your chest. And if you drop your chin to your chest, roll the right ear to the right shoulder, there'll be a nice stretch then on the left. Then from there, you're going to make kind of a motion, target your nose and turn it towards your right shoulder, and then turn your nose up to the corner of the ceiling. And continue going down to the shoulder and up to the ceiling, a good number of times, maybe 6 or 10 times, just very gently. And this really will open up that left side of the neck. And then when you're done, end with the nose down to the shoulder. Again, your arms are still crossed. Roll the chin to the chest, and then roll the left ear to the left shoulder, and continue on that side. So again, moving the nose down to the shoulder, and then up towards the ceiling. And again, do this a good number of times, nice and slow, 6 to 10 times, and it really will help open up the front sides and sides of the neck. And then when you're done, end with the nose down to the shoulder, roll the chin to the chest, release your hands, and roll your head up. So those are 2 very easy, very effective stretches that you can do at home that really kind of romance that fascia to let go and to let you have some better range of motion and decrease any kind of pain or discomfort that you may have.
Now, I would imagine as a person does this and they begin to feel better, that they start feeling like maybe they want to exercise or be more physically active than they probably were before. Is that generally what you find as an outcome?
Yes, it really is. It's like you had a crystal ball right there. Yes, for sure. People start feeling better. I have people come in, oh my gosh, I have this terrible knee pain, or, my shoulder hurts so bad. And then, as soon as we alleviate that pain, which can happen even right after that very first session, I have clients who are like, I went out and bought a bicycle. Now I'm riding my bicycle, or now I'm able to walk so much farther and, really get more active and more mobile. And it's just wonderful. I just think it's wonderful.
I'll bet they even started improving other areas of their lives, probably like their diet and so forth.
Yes, that's very true. It's amazing how once you're not hurting, or once you start having success in areas of your life, that really does transcend and start to flow over into all portions of life. Mm-hmm.
That is wonderful. Now, how can people find out, more about this? I mean, is this something that you only do in Portland, Oregon, or is this, something that's been taken on everywhere else?
No, this is international now. Ann and Chris have been training a number of us since 1999. So if you are not in the Portland area, you can go online to the Stretch to Win Institute, and you can search your city, and those individuals who are certified will come up, and you can call and book appointments with them. If you are in the Portland area, my website, Hygeia Healing Online, which is HYGEIA, Healing Online. We have 2 fascial stretch therapists that work here and know of others in the city if our schedules don't match up. So yeah, there are people all over the world who are trained and certified in this, and one of my colleagues is actually heading to Rio just today to go to the Olympics.
Maybe get some of those athletes a little facial therapy, right?
That's right.
Well, Christine, I want to thank you first of all, for joining us here on the program to talk about this. It's always wonderful to bring out natural modalities that are non-invasive, that actually work very, very well, and it's been a pleasure to have you on the program. And for our listeners, go ahead and give out that website one more time.
Yeah, so the website is HygeiaHealingOnline.com, which is HYGEIA healingonline.com, and it's under services is fascial stretch therapy.
Very good.
Thank you so much, Daniel.
You bet, Christine. What a pleasure to have you back on the program again.
All right. Have a great day.
We want to thank you, the listeners out there, for tuning in. We always welcome your questions or comments. Shoot us an email at beyond50@beyond50radio.com. You can also follow us on Facebook as well as Twitter at Beyond50Radio. Also, go to our website at beyond50radio.com as well. That is the number 50. We encourage you to sign up for our weekly e-newsletter and stay up to date on what's going on in the world of Beyond 50. I'm Daniel Davis. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Beyond 50 radio program, and remember, live your day past halfway.